So Cabo Blanco, where we are right now, is actually, as I read online, the first private nature reserve and conservation area of Costa Rica. So at Cabo Blanco you enter and you will have to pay. So the only way you can pay is by card, and only I think it's probably like credit card. So we actually don't have that, so we just went and saw there was another guide and he offered to pay for us, so we paid him cash in colones and he paid the register for us. So this is definitely something to keep in mind. I would say more in the low season than now, because now I would expect there's someone that can help you to pay. But definitely super super inconvenient. So we paid 12,000 colones for two people, and then in US dollars I think it was, if you wanted to pay by card, it was like 26 US dollars. So I would say that's like typical entrance fee of a national park here in Costa Rica. This is the Panama tree. It is enormous. It's such a tall tree, and it actually has an opening. I'm not sure if you're gonna be able to hear anything, but in a lot of these openings bats are living inside, as is the case with this one. Because of all the cattle ranching, most of the primary forest was cut down, and so most forests you will see in Costa Rica are secondary forest. There are some pieces, mostly you will see like there's a small piece of primary forest and there's conservation efforts around it, so you'll see a bit of primary forest surrounded by secondary forest. It just says something about like how old the trees are, and there's a bit of a change in what kind of species you will find. So I'm standing next to this tree with all these spikes. I get you close. You can see how big these are, like compared to my fingers. Excuse my nail polish. Yeah, they're really big, and they like cover the whole tree. So what we see here on the side, this brown clump, that's a termite nest. So the termites, they build these nests and they have all these connecting tunnels, so you won't see them walking like freely on a branch. They always build kind of like their own little tunnels to walk through. Termites you can actually eat, which if you're ever surviving in the jungle, I don't know if they taste good, I didn't have any. To show you the trail, there are quite like big steps. Most of it goes up and then down again. I would say like just take it easy, and it's definitely doable. Bring a lot of water, maybe some sugary snacks, and you'll be fine. Wow, look at this butterfly. Beautiful, beautiful orange colors. Look at this cricket. Standing next to the web of an orb. I think it's the yellow orb web weaver spider, something like this. It's actually called that way because now you can't see, but if you look in the sunshine, the web can seem kind of like a golden silky color. I don't know if you can see the spider. It's there. Oops, there it is. I took a picture, so I'll put it in the screen. So the females are relatively big, which this one is about this size, and then the males are really, really tiny, so that the female doesn't, yeah, I don't know, see them as competition, and eats them or deters them or whatever. So that's the difference in size. I'm still looking if you can see them, but I don't think so. Yeah, but really cool. At this beautiful trail. Oh, I'm out of breath a bit. It's quite steep, but it is beautiful, and you have so many butterflies, constantly the sound of birds, of the howler monkeys as well. And yeah, the trail is very, very well maintained. Like, you have some ropes to help guide you along. There are some stepping stones, so yeah, it's hard, but definitely doable. Look at the monstera leaves going up the tree vining, and how bigger and how higher they get, how more fenestrations or holes the leaves will have. I'll zoom in, look at that, and how beautiful does it look with the sunlight. Yeah, definitely for plant lovers, Costa Rica is a beautiful, beautiful place. Here on the plant you can see we have an epiphyte, and honestly I would guess it's some sort of orchid. I have never seen this before, and it's so beautiful. It's actually blooming right now. So as you can see, this plant is not connected to the earth and only to the tree. So that means that the roots, they are completely not touching any soil, and it needs to get all the nutrients and water from the air. So the chirping noise you're hearing right now, I hope, is the cicada. So the life cycle of a cicada is really, really awesome. It actually lives in the ground for, I believe it's like 7 years, or it can be up to 7 years before it emerges. So it's a larvae under the ground, then it emerges, and you will see on trees or plants low to the ground, you can see these brown cicada skins, because they actually need to shed their skin in order to grow. So you can find those in the jungle. Most of them, I would say, are closer to the ground. Yeah, and right after they submerge from their old skin, they are immensely blue and green. So we just saw a really big dragonfly. I think I will look it up at home which species it was, but it was super big, and it had like a really thin body and then yellow on the wings, and yeah, great find. Wow guys, look at this beetle. This is amazing how reflective it is. So because they are so big, they kind of fly insanely bad, so they just kind of go and make a bunch of sounds. Different plants have different defense mechanisms. Look at the spines on this palm. Super long spines. Somewhere in these trees there is a bird's nest. Now you're asking me, how do you know? Well, one of the eggs fell out of the nest, and still, yeah, really amazing to see this. We're almost there. You can see the sea finally. You can hear the waves. Excited to swim for a bit. Even though the distance we still have left and the height, we already found this little hermit crab. Look at him. So when hermit crabs grow, they actually have to change their shell. Sometimes they do this by all coming together and then giving their shell to the smaller hermit crab. So actually also a reminder to not take anything out of nature or from the beach and leave everything as is. Wow, so we just seen this pelican catch a fish. That's cool. So the pelicans, they have this really big beak, and so they kind of scoop up a whole bunch of water, and of course they aim for a fish, and that's the way they kind of fish for their food. It's really cool to see, and we actually just saw one going in. There's a bunch of them here around the rocks, because around the rocks is where you would usually find the most fish, because they can have shelter there. I just went in for a little swim. Well, you don't really swim here, you just kind of like sit in the water, chill, cool down for a bit, and then you walk the same way back because it's actually just one way. So in total, the whole walk going and coming back is about 10 kilometers. We just did the first 5, so now we're getting ready to walk the 5 kilometers back to the beginning. Also, I wanted to just point out that there is some trash on the beach. This is all from the sea, so yeah, just think about that before you throw something in the streets and not into a trash can, that it can end up in beautiful places like this. And yeah, it just harms wildlife, and it's just really ugly to look at, really. So yeah, take your trash. Wow. So this is the bark of this tree, which I don't know the name of, but it is insanely green. So here you can see another example of a leaf being rolled up. So inside you expect something growing, of an insect. Yeah, could be a caterpillar or something larvae related. And actually here you can see how they close it up. So there's this sticky threads almost that hold the leaf in this rolled up position. We were walking and then we almost stepped on this snake, which of course first impression is coral snake, which I'm still not 100% sure. And it was quite like, it had a good length, it was quite long. And you just see like how impressive, because once it goes off the trail into the leaf litter, there's there's no trace of it anymore, and so that was really impressive to see. And actually a super cool end to the trail, because we're almost back. So to actually tell you a bit more about snakes, I know a lot of people are afraid of snakes, and of course you need to be careful, especially with venomous snakes. which they have in Costa Rica, and they are common. So it is wise to always um, stay on the trail. But there are no species of snakes that enjoy to bite. So actually, I think all snakes, if given the opportunity, they will try and go away from you. So give them the space to do so, give them the time to do so.